Good morning to you guys here. Happy Saturday, the day before Easter here. Easter Eve is what I'll call it. I hope you guys are all doing well out there. April 19th, 2025 today. I hope you guys are doing great. We've got a lot to talk about today. 48 hours of significant severe weather from Texas all the way up to the Ohio Valley over the next 48 hours. We are expecting extremely large hail, damaging winds, and a couple of tornadoes, and a couple of those could actually be strong going into your Easter Sunday across portions of northern Arkansas and Missouri. We're going to break all that timing down for you guys here, talking in general about what we're going to be seeing. If you guys can see on your screen here, we've got a lot of storm activity ongoing this morning here, basically from the northeast all the way down here to Texas. And this is basically left over from a stalled out boundary that moved through yesterday. That's going to allow for another day and then another day of severe weather. We can see showers and storms. Some of this is producing severe weather criteria up in Ohio this morning, back down into portions of Arkansas and southern Missouri. They're going to be moving into Illinois and Kentucky here very soon. But another thing that's going to be a problem as well is going to be the heavy rainfall. We're going to see those flash flooding potential go up over the next 2 days here as well, and really through the next week here, as we're going to see more showers and storms develop throughout the week. But we're going to be more concentrated on Texas and down here in Arkansas and Oklahoma this afternoon, as we are expecting this extremely large hail, potentially up to 2 to 3 plus inches in diameter once again, especially down in that level 3 enhanced risk zone. I'll talk more about that here in just a second, but we've also got some snow showers ongoing in the Four Corners. Another next system coming in that's going to be coming in early next week, that's going to be moving in off the West Pacific, and then the remnants of a northeast system up there that's got some snow up in northern Canada there. But other than that, severe weather is going to be our topic for today. We'll talk about that. We'll break down those rainfall totals, talk about timing of everything, and we will get you guys out the door. As always, guys, we will not have a live stream today unless anything, any tornadoes or anything happens. I'm going to be continuing to spend time with the family and be here for Easter weekend. So if we need to break in for streaming, we will. I probably will have a stream. I was going to do one last night, but I wasn't able to. We'll probably have a stream later on tonight between 10 and midnight here on YouTube and on TikTok. So if you guys will, comment as always. If you have any questions, hit the like button as well, and we'll get into it. Now, as I mentioned today, we are expecting the threat for severe weather mainly going to be focused down in the southern plains and the central plains and the Arklatex today. We do now have a level 3 enhanced risk for severe weather down for west central Texas here. This is going to be for the threat for extremely large hail, a couple of isolated tornadoes, and some damaging winds. Outside of that, though, wind and hail are going to be the biggest threats going up into the Ohio Valley, the Missouri Boot Hill area, and then all the way up into the northeast. We have a wind and hail threat as well, level 1 risk out of 5 up there as far as Massachusetts and Maine almost. So it's a pretty big, significant day for severe weather today, mostly going to be concentrated towards Abilene, Texas, San Angelo, Dallas, Fort Worth area, Cincinnati, Ohio getting in on this as well. So we've got a pretty big area today under the gun for severe weather. So make sure you guys have alerts on your phones, a way to go when you get warnings, all of that, etc. here. But we do have a level 3 out of 5 in the orange, level 2 out of 5 in the yellow, and level 1 out of 5 in the green. Tornado risk today is at a 5 and a 2%. So we do have a pretty decent tornado risk today. I will mention yesterday's tornado risk really did not come to fruition. And the reason why that was because we had a stalled out boundary that actually pushed through a little bit quicker there. That cold front moved through, and it allowed for just surface-based temperatures and the thermodynamics to really not develop. We had the shear in place yesterday, just didn't really have the thermodynamics, and there was a lot of cloud cover as well across a lot of areas yesterday. So by the time storms fired off, the timing of our trough and everything just wasn't quite there, as I mentioned prior. So that's why we didn't really have a lot of tornadoes last night. Most of anything was wind and hail. Today, a little bit of a different story. We'll have some decent thermodynamics and some instability as well as the kinematics in place today. I wouldn't be shocked to see the Storm Prediction Center upgrade to a small 10% hatch tornado risk, or maybe just a 10%, due to the fact that we could see some stronger rotation, some storms there, maybe for a strong tornado conditionally. We'll see if SPC does that, but nevertheless, 2% and 5% tornado risk for Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and then up to the Missouri Boot Hill, just outside of the western Kentucky line there. The biggest threat for today is going to be damaging winds and hail. And I do want to mention that the wind threat today, 15 and 5% goes in the yellow there. Winds up to 60 to 70 miles per hour as far as Maine, and they are 5% in the maroon, 15% in the yellow. And then the hail risk, we've got a 5% chance of seeing hail 1 to 2 inches in diameter from Kentucky all the way up to Maine, Massachusetts. And then we've got a level 2 slight risk there in the yellow here outside of that hatched region for northwestern Arkansas, southern portions of Missouri, and eastern Oklahoma, 1 to 2 inch diameter hail at 15% there. And then we get into the hatched region. And this is where we have the threat to see 15 or 30% chance there of 2+ diameter inch hail, where we really could see 3+ inch diameter hail, I think, at some point. That's basically going to be baseball size or bigger. So be mindful if you're in those areas today. Have your way to get your cars covered up, put them under a garage, put them somewhere. There's going to be multiple rounds of supercells that are going to move in. It's not just going to be a one and done thing. I think a lot of people are going to see multiple rounds of storms that are going to allow for that threat for severe weather today. So we'll get to the timing here in a second. I want to run over our next day of severe weather. Tomorrow has a better shot at being what we call a regional tornado outbreak, at least in my opinion here. We do have a level 3 enhanced risk already in in place here for most of Missouri back down into northern Arkansas. Level 2 slight risk there in the yellow and a level 1 marginal risk in the green. And that is going to be due to the threat for more of a robust severe weather event for Easter tomorrow. So Easter Sunday here, guys, not looking good if you're in the Arklatex or the Missouri Valley or into the lower Ohio Valley here, as we are expecting the threat for a significant severe weather outbreak tomorrow. We have a 10% tornado risk, a 5% tornado risk, and a 2%. I wouldn't be shocked to see this tornado risk hatch, which would mean the threat for strong EF2 plus tornadoes in the future if that does need to be done. But nevertheless, though, a 10% chance of most of Missouri seeing a threat for tornadoes tomorrow. That's actually pretty decently high in terms of that. That's that level 3 out of 5 risk that we talk about for storms there. We've also got a wind threat at 30, 15, and 5. Winds could be anywhere from 60 to 80 miles per hour. And then the hail threat also looking at a 1 to 2 inch diameter hail setup tomorrow, 15 and 5%. But that tornado and the wind threat's really going to be maximized across northern Arkansas and Missouri. And I'm getting more concerned about that due to the overlapping with the kinematics that we're going to have in the atmosphere. That's that wind shear in the lower levels. It could spin up a couple of these storms that could be maybe even a strong tornado. So we've got St. Louis in that. Little Rock, Arkansas, Springville, Missouri, Columbia, Fayetteville, Arkansas, St. Louis, like I said, Springville, Fort Smith, Arkansas, and then down into the marginal risk. We got Tulsa, Kansas City there. So we're going to be watching out for you guys. Once again, I'm going to try to get a live stream in for you guys tomorrow to cover this, since this is a lot bigger of a tornado risk. I'm sorry due to the lack of live streaming yesterday and today and tomorrow. Just super, super busy with a lot of stuff going on. It happens. You guys know that. I can't cover everything. So I try my best to do what I can do for you guys, but we'll be on standby to cover, especially for tomorrow if need to be. We'll go ahead and talk about the timing here. Let me get up our 12Z HER run. This is going to run through today and tomorrow. So we'll talk about the Ohio Valley region first for today and tomorrow, and then we'll go to the Southern Plains and talk. So you can see showers and storms moving through this morning, a couple of those being severe. We're going to have to watch this afternoon for a couple of cells that could either be rotating, producing some large hail across northwestern Kentucky, southern Illinois, southern Indiana. This is where I think maybe even a slight risk gets shifted south over the next update. We'll have to see what SVC does on that. But definitely going to be watching for the threat for severe weather. A couple of those cells actually make it into northern Kentucky past Louisville up towards southern Ohio. We'll have to watch for a couple of those, more of a elevated to marginal risk up there, and then we could see another round of storms move through after midnight tonight across the Missouri Boot Hill up in Arkansas. But I think the severe weather threat is really going to be more confined to this evening and this afternoon, and then we'll see a bunch of rain move in behind that. So as we go into tomorrow as well, you're going to see that warm front lift once again. We're going to have an open warm sector here. The problem with tomorrow, yes, we have a decent tornado environment, but we're going to have what's called high shear, low cape. When you have a lot of shear in the atmosphere, but a lot of lower levels of instability, just not a lot of instability in general. And what that can do is what gives you is conditional tornado risk. So we're going to have to watch tomorrow's tornado threat may unfold. It may not unfold. If instability can increase a little bit more than what's forecasted, then we'll definitely have a problem in terms of tornadoes tomorrow. But nevertheless, right now, there will be showers and storms that do fire off in this. If storms can become surface-based, that threat for tornadoes will be there. And you can see a couple of those discrete cells up and down the warm front here along our cold front. We'll have the threat for a couple of those. Really looks more heavy rain, wind, hail, and then, like I said, a couple tornadoes can't be ruled out there. And then as we go through 6 to 7 o'clock tomorrow, or between 3 and 6 o'clock tomorrow, it's going to move through Arkansas into Missouri and then into eventually the Ohio Valley, where we'll have just this boundary in place. This should be sub-severe by the time it gets into western Kentucky, Illinois, and Indiana tomorrow night after midnight going into Monday morning. So a lot to talk about. We're going to talk more about this potentially on a stream this evening here. I'm going to try and get a stream into you guys this afternoon before things get going, just to give you guys a little bit of an update. If I can't, I will be on later tonight. Let's go to the Southern Plains here. A little bit of a different story. Showers and thunderstorms ongoing this morning here. We'll continue to see that moisture move out, and then we're going to have these supercells that are going to fire off. This is something I haven't seen the HER model do in quite some time. Just ridiculous amount of large hail that's going to be falling out of some of these cells. So if you're in and around northern and central Texas today, please, please, please have a way to get alerts on your phones. I definitely think the hail risk today is going to be significant for you guys. A couple of these could be rotating, producing a couple tornadoes, but it looks to be really more towards the Red River here, just northwest of Texas, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We're going to have just training of these supercells, continuing, and then eventually after 11 p.m. tonight, things become linear, and we get this MCS that moves through, and then things kind of fizzle out by tomorrow morning, and then we refire off storms. But once again, I want to show you guys something because this is quite interesting. I don't show this too often, but these are what's called updraft helicity tracks. This gives us an idea of how much rotation is in these supercell thunderstorms. Those are rotating updrafts, and you guys can see we're going to have to watch very, very closely here for northern Texas, and then eventually up into Arkansas and into Missouri and Kentucky tomorrow, through today and tomorrow, where we could see a couple tornadoes spin up. These show sometimes large hail, sometimes tornadoes, not guaranteed which one you're going to get, but it does show rotation, and that does mean the potential for tornadoes as well as damaging winds and large hail. So a lot to figure out over the next couple of days here. We will have a brief lowdown tomorrow on what's going to happen next week. I was going to add that in today's video, but I'm not, just because I want to leave this short for you guys. But if you are in Texas, Oklahoma, eastern Oklahoma, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, all the way up to the Northeast. Have a way to get alerts on your phones, guys. I'll have another update for you guys, hopefully this afternoon. If not, it'll be tomorrow morning, or not tomorrow morning. It'll be this evening after 10 p.m. Central Time, and then we'll have a live stream then. Other than that, guys, have a wonderful Saturday. Be safe, be weather aware, and we will see you guys in the next one.